Okay, just want to share a few things with you that I found out monkeying with themes. Sometimes the themes will add pages to your site. So this, and this, I think were all pages that were added from a different theme. So no big deal because as we've learned, we can easily delete pages. But something else that's happened is my site is only down to one page right now. So I think it's going to be best that I jump ahead and talk about menus right now so that if you have the same problem and you want to be able to test what different pages are going to look like on a theme, how your contact's going to look, and whatever type of site you're building, that would make a lot of sense. The other thing that I want to make sure you understand is just because you find a site that has an image up here doesn't mean that you can't get rid of it. If it has a background image, doesn't mean that you can't change it. So let's get into menus first. And I'm going to make some changes in my pages just so that you can see the power of menus. What I've done here is I've added a bunch of pages to make it look like you're going to make kind of like a hobbyist website where you can talk about your paintings and your photographs, and you want to break photographs down into landscape and portraits, and then you also have a contact page and a blog. By the way, I think it's just worth saying at this point that if you are a graphic designer and that's your passion and that's what you want to work in, I don't recommend doing sites where you feature your graphic design work along with things like painting and photography because it can look like you're the jack of all trades and the master of none, where most of the time when someone's looking for a graphic designer, especially an employer looking to hire you as a graphic designer, they want to know that you can do it all. If you want to have a site that shows everything, that's fine, but I would say when you're job hunting, definitely have one that just focuses on graphic design. Okay, so now our task is going to be to update our menu so that it has all of our things. Then we can make a better decision about what theme we want to use. So we're going to go back here into the dashboard. We're going to go to Appearance and we're going to go to Menus. And what's nice here is it'll show you the most recent thing that you've put, and then you can check which things you want to add to your menu. In this case, it would be all of them. Oh, and in fact, there's a button right there to select all. Then we're going to go Add to Menu. So basically on the left here, you have your decision maker. And then over here on the right, you have the actual structure of the menu. And you can see there's some stuff left over here from when I was trying different themes, and they outline them in pink to let you know that they're not valid anymore. So we're going to go to this little downward caret, and anything that we don't want, we're going to remove from the menu. Okay, so we have blog, paintings, landscape, photography. Okay, so all the stuff that we want here. Oh, and you see this little button right here, automatically add new top level pages to this menu. You can check this, and as you make new pages, they'll automatically be added to the top, which is normally the way I expect WordPress to work. And probably what happened along the way is I put in a theme that automatically had this unchecked. So I'll check this again. You can decide, based on your performance, whether you like stuff showing up on the top, because sometimes you don't want a new page that you make to show up on the top level. You want it to be a sub menu, but we'll talk more about that in a bit. And then display location, primary menu. This means the main menu that you see at the top. Some themes will have more than one menu, like they may have a menu on the top and at the bottom and maybe even on the side, which is not the best as far as user experience goes. But just be aware, I know I've said this before, but I'm saying it again. The theme has a lot to do with what you can do overall. So that's why you have to check out a lot of themes, find the one that fits just exactly what you are trying to do, doesn't give you less and doesn't give you a whole bunch more, that you have to start getting rid of things, and some things can be a little bit tricky to get at and get rid of, as you may see here soon. In the last video, I told you always search for a button somewhere on here that says save or something like that. Menus are the case where you do have to save. And menus just happen to be one of those items that can take a long time to save. So I had a little spinning wheel up here. Now that it has saved, I'll go over to my actual website, hit refresh, and there we go. There are my menu items, and they'll take me to the various pages. And you can see this one just happens to have these random images that show up. All right, so now let's talk about organizing these things. Like maybe we don't want blog first, maybe we want paintings first, maybe we need a home page or an about page. So let's actually make a home page, add it to the menu, and we will then clean some things up. So I'm going to go back into the dashboard. I'm going to go to pages just by clicking on the word pages. Going to add new. This will be my home page. Okay, so just from a blank, made a new page, hit publish twice, and we're going to go over to the actual page after that is published. Hit the refresh button, and because we told it to add new things to the menu, it did. Okay, now we got the problem with some of these things are in the wrong order. So we're going to go back to here. We're going to go to appearance. We're going to go back to menus. And now we're just going to simply drag these to where we want things. So I'm clicking, I'm dragging up. Now, you see how this accidentally tucked in? That's how you make a sub page. But let's just get these in an order that makes sense here first. Oh, it looks like we have two blogs. That's not good. So we'll have to figure out which one of those is right and delete another one, which was again something that happened probably from goofing around with themes. So I got these to where they made sense to me. I'm going to click on save, and you can see I'm going to get the spinning wheel here. Okay, and then I went to the actual page, hit refresh, and now everything is working like I expect. This is also a bad thing to happen in a website where the navigation will jump up and down. Navigation is essential in your website, and you don't want people to have to search for it, even if it's even just an inch different where it moves to. Let's figure out why we have two blog pages. We should be able to tell which is the correct one. No, it looks like actually they're both the same thing. So hopefully we can just go back into dashboard pages. Let's just try deleting this one here and see what happens. Now that could have been a true glitch because I went back, refreshed the page, and now both blogs are gone. So this is good when stuff like this happens when I'm making the video, because I can show you exactly what I do to try to figure these things out. So I go back into pages. I don't see blog here, but I don't really expect to see blog here because blog is, like its own thing, so to speak. So I'm not worried that it's not here. And if I go to posts, those are the posts that show up on the blog, and you can see the ones that we made together from a while back are still here. So that leads me to believe this shouldn't be too tough to fix. So we're going to go to appearance, and we're going to go back to menus, and let's just see. Okay, so there's two blogs on here that say invalid, and that's because I deleted. Let's see here. Okay, so here's my approach. I'm going to delete both of these invalid blogs, update the menu, then I'm going to make a new post and see if blog hopefully shows back up. Okay, I think I figured it out. So I made another blog just to see if, magically the blog would show up. But here's what happened is actually the portraits page, once I look around, like I went to each page and just scrolled down, went to the portraits page here, and I see, ooh, that's actually the blog. So it wasn't like it really disappeared. It's just that there were several pages called blogs, and one of them got renamed by me. So now all I should have to do is rename this page back to blog and then make a new portraits page. So I'm just going to go inside of pages. I'm going to go to portraits, which was the one that is actually my blog. I'm going to hit edit. And I'm going to just rename this page blog, update, and then I am going to make a new page for portraits. Okay, so I just finished making the portraits page. I'm publishing it. Now when we go to our site, that page should automatically show back up. And there we go. So probably just a little bit of reordering. Now, speaking of, even if these were all in the right order, here's where it might make sense to have a submenu item. Now, for example, so you got home painting, and then you got my photography, and then you got landscape and portraits, which are tied together. So maybe you just want my photography and portraits and landscapes to come underneath it. It does two things. One, it organizes the site. Two, it makes it look like you have less stuff to choose from, which, sometimes if you have too much, it can be a little bit intimidating to the user. They tend to get that attitude like, well, I'll come back to this one later. Or if you surprise the person with how much stuff you have as it unfolds in front of them, that's usually better. So let's look at how easy that is to do. We'll go back over here. We will get into, just going to click this back thing to get back to the dashboard. Going to go to appearance, menus again, and then this time we're going to take portraits and get it so that it tucks under my photography. Then we're going to do the same thing with landscape, which sometimes it just takes a little bit of goofing around with this to get it to go exactly where you want, but you can definitely get it done. Figure out whether we want contact first or blog first. Just depends. If you're a very light blogger, you may not even want it at all, but we'll go with this for now. Save it, take a look at it, go to the page, refresh it, and there you can see when we go to photography, we have portrait and landscape beneath it. Now, the only thing that's a little bit strange here, and I'll show you two workarounds for this, is you have my photography, and if you click on it, it actually takes you to a page. And if you click on portraits, it takes you to a page. And if you click on landscapes, it takes you to a page. The only thing kind of bad about that is what if most people know better, but what if somebody went to photography and they wanted to see your portraits and your landscapes, but they just clicked here and all they found here was just a little bit of a write-up about how you use a Polaroid, and they're like, where are the pictures? So one thing that you could do is figure out a way to get rid of this page, or let's do a more logical thing here. So what I did that seems more logical to me is we still have portraits, still have landscape, and I changed this thing, my photography, to about my camera. Now we're going to go into appearance, we're going to go into menus, and we're going to make this a little more logical in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a menu item so that we can put all three of these under it that is not a page choice. To do that, we're going to go over to our left side, and instead of pages, which we've been working with to put our pages on there, we are going to go over to custom link, drop that down, and we are going to, instead of putting an HTTP address in there, we are just going to put the £, and then we are going to put the text, which is what's going to show up in the menu, and we'll just change that to photography. Click on add to menu. We're going to move this, what's known as a dummy link. That's what the £, does, is just give you something that works like a link but goes nowhere. And then we'll move this all the way up. Close that little caret up, and then we'll tuck that like that. Move this back and the other one back. All right, so now all three things are tucked under there. We will save the menu, and then we'll go look at it on the page. And now when we roll over photography, we can't click on it to go to a page, but we can go to About My Camera, and then after we look at that, we can go to Portraits, and then we can go to Landscapes. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about menus. We'll continue on the next one, delving into themes a little deeper.